Hey everybody, today I have a special treat for you. This morning we brought out our giant driveway pots and they're looking fantastic. We planted them right around April 11th. It's now June 3rd, so it's been about 7.5 weeks. I do want to remind you that we are in northern Michigan, so this is actually the first week that we've had with nighttime temperatures that are consistently above 55 degrees. So we can't have them out if it's going to be dropping that low at night, just because some of the plants wouldn't fare very well. And just last week, not this past week, but the week before that, we had 3 nights with frost, one night reaching 27 degrees. So when you get temperatures that cold, there's a lot of damage, and when you have all your trees and shrubs already leafed out at that point, there's a lot of stress for people like us, but we got through it pretty good. Maybe I'll do another video to show you exactly what happened there. Today though, I want it to be all about these containers. So this is going to be basically the second video about these containers. I want to go through and show you what did well, what's maybe a little bit behind what I thought it would be, and what's looking really spectacular. So let's take a closer look. So this one here is the aqua pot that I had planted up. So you can see the trailing begonia is doing its trailing, which is exactly what we wanted. The Lysimachia, I can't remember how to pronounce this. This is growing right down the side. It was planted right here, but it's also coming out over on this side along with some of the wire vine. So I'm really happy to see that wire vine kind of making its appearance. It's also showing up kind of out here, so I really do like that. You can see our Coleus, which is the Ruby Road Main Street series, and looks like we're starting to get flowers on this. This is a little early to have flowers, so I'm going to pinch those off right now. Just want to discourage them from flowering. This variety tends to last really long even if it flowers, but hey, why not take those off? And then this is a SUREFIRE Rose Begonia, and then you can see we've got the trailing Coleus. This is the Burgundy Wedding Train. And this has been a little slow starting, but Coleus in general usually likes it a little bit warmer. So I'm expecting it to kind of keep growing and getting bigger as we go. Here we have our red, white, and blue planter, and you can see there's a very happy bee crawling around on the salvia. This is the Rockin' Playin' the Blues. In fact, there's another bee right over there. They absolutely love it. Hummingbirds go after this one too, but the Rockin' Playin' the Blues, that's one plant in there. So you can see very dramatic center, lots of flower power on this, and look at all those buds that are on their way. So this is going to just keep flowering all summer long. Looking great here with, this is the Supertunia Royal Velvet. Beautiful plant on this one. Just really lots of new buds coming, lots of flower coverage. It's really a dense kind of plant there. On this side, we have the Super Cal Premium Bordeaux. Beautiful, rich, kind of red burgundy color here. Plays really nice, I think, with the other petunia. Now this one here is still kind of in its upward growth stage. We're going to start seeing it trailing as it gets a little bit bigger. And that's the case with some of these trailing petunias, is that you're going to see them get kind of upward and then they start to trail. This is some Plectranthus. We haven't grown this one before, so it's been fun to watch because it gets this upward growth first, just like the petunias do, and then as it weighs itself down, it'll start trailing. So I think this is going to be a nice vigorous one. Definitely has a fragrance, so that's supposed to keep the deer away. Over here we have some white Gara, and just beautiful, kind of popping through. That's going to keep growing as well. So this pot has been really a joy to watch. Over here, this is another pot with just some experiments with different petunias in it. So this one here is the Color Blitz Blurific. You can see nice full kind of habit on that one. This is more of a mounding one. So this is the Capella Pink Lace. And I just love how this one is kind of etched around the edges and in the throat. Really beautiful. The Bee's Knees Petunia, great yellow. This is the Petunia Purple Halo. So this one is another mounding one. So it's a smaller one with an upright habit. The flowers are more white than they were before, and I'm not sure if that's just because of temperature or the fertilizer or what's causing that, but it did have more purple in it before. And then this pink one is the Cascadia Fantasy Hot Pink. I love how it has the white on the inside, and this is really an intense hot pink color. And in the center, we're training some of the upside sweet potato vine, and it's just going to go up this trellis. So you can see it has this trailing habit. It can also be a really good spiller as well, really vigorous. And then tucked in back here is some lantana, and this is the Bandolista variety. Now lantana, you'll find a couple plants. Some of the sweet potato vine, the lantana, they tend to be slower starters because they like the heat a little bit. So we're going to start seeing the growth up here on that when we get a little bit warmer. This pink beast over here has been putting on quite a show. So right across here, this is the Funhouse Potpourri Petunia. This is doing really, really well. I mean, that's 2 plants right there. So we did put 2 in there. The only thing that's discouraging is that the yellow coloring in it is kind of inconsistent. Like this plant has a lot less yellow than this one. I don't know if that has to do with temperature. Sometimes with petunias that's the case, that we'll start seeing the color really appear in a true color a little bit later. We'll wait and see. And then we have some of the lophos in here, so lophospermum, and it trails down, so it's coming down over here. You can see we've got a couple flowers appearing. This one likes the heat as well, so we're going to start seeing a lot more flower action hopefully later on. That's going to trail all the way to the ground. Americana cherry rose, geraniums in there. That's just got some nice color in it. Angelonia is another one that is going to be a little bit of a slow starter. It likes the heat, so once we start getting warmth, we're going to have that. So this is the Angelonia Angel Face White, and this one here is the Archangel Cherry Red. So these are going to start hopefully popping through very soon. And then we just have some green sweet potato vine in here, or Ipomia or Ipomia. Another one, I hadn't shown you some of these are just extras that Stacy was really trying to see what the habits were and how things played together. So this is a Kufia called Sugar Bells, new color this year. This one has been doing really well. Both the Honey Bells and Sugar Bells, I don't know, we tried a couple things with growing it to improve it, and we did so much better having bigger plants, you know, stronger plants for the Kufia. So we kind of figured Kufia out. Then over here, this is the Lobelia. This is the Hot Plus, and I don't know what's going on this year. The white has stayed very mounding, but normally this Lobelia has a good trailing habit. So we're just waiting for it to kind of stretch out and start flowing over the side. I'm sure it's going to happen, but I'm not sure when. So this one's behaving a little differently than we expected. This is it Aloha, or oh, I'm forgetting the name, but it is the mango. I'll have to put the name on the thing. This has been a really great color. It really stands out from a distance and been flowering since we got it. So nonstop flowers on it. And remember, Calibraco are going to be a little bit smaller than petunias, so don't be, you know, discouraged. This is the Super Bells, something sunset or sunrise or something like that. Normally they get stripes in it, but this one has been a little inconsistent with its stripes, and we noticed that across a couple of plants. So the color is still really beautiful though, and I like it. It has a real satiny kind of look to it. And then this is an Under the Sea Coleus, and then we have one of the Zion osteospermums or osteos, and this is it's Margarita Plus or something plus. It has a bigger flower than normal, and it really does show up really nice. So we're probably looking at carrying a couple more of that variety. So although the Zion get a little taller, the bigger flowers really make that a showstopper in there. And this is a Petunia coral, I think, yeah. And so this is a little bit more of a mounding variety of petunia, but you can see it's already starting to show a little bit of trailing action. We notice the petunias are pretty good for that. This one here has been kind of interesting to watch because we neglected it. And so we have been doing a little recovery on it. So we've got here some Supertunia Mini Vista Yellow, doing great. There's 2 plants, one on each side. But I mean, that plant goes from here to here. Some black sweet potato vine. And then we have some of the Superbina Peachy Keen. That's doing really well. The COLORBLAZE El Brido Coleus. This coleus is doing well. It's going to get a lot taller. It's just going to take a little while. When we start getting the heat, hopefully we'll see that. We did put some Diamond Frost Euphorbia in here, but this is where our neglect kind of shows. The different Thumbergia, the coconut appeal variety, has kind of, and also the petunias kind of choked it out a little bit. It's still there and it's still doing fine. You can see it's got nice coverage, but you know, we want it to kind of come out and show up. If it disappears, that's okay. So there's some of the coconut appeal flowers, that beautiful black eye in there. Really, really, really nice. And it's just starting to trail down the edge. So that was our goal. We should have been training it though outward rather than letting it go into the coleus and into all the other stuff. So we didn't babysit that one quite enough, but I still think it looks great, and it's going to only get better as the season goes on. This one here has a canna. I think it's probably a red or an orange. I don't remember which one Stacy put in there. And then these are Super Cal premiums in here. So this is the Super Cal premium. I think that's the orange. It's looking a little yellow right now. That one does shift colors a little bit. And this is probably, no, maybe it's, let me see, I can tell if it's Super Cal when I touch the leaves. Not sticky, so it's a Super Cal. So this is the Super Cal premium pearl or something like that. Been a really nice white to work with. We have some Scaevola in there as well. Scaevola is another one. Waits until it gets a little bit warmer to start taking off. So all of our Scaevola is just starting to put on a show now. And then I think this is the Surefire, is it Cabernet? I think Petunia. And then we have a Cathedral Salvia, so that's the dark blue, and that's doing really well. So it doesn't get quite as big as the other salvia I showed you, but it is a big one, and it is a good performer as well. This one is our foliage only planter, and in this one the Burgundy Wedding Train Coleus is doing very, very well. It's starting to go over the edge and it's really being prolific. The Queen Tut grass is doing great, and actually I think it's getting to kind of its maximum height in this one, so it's very, very happy, and I just love how it's just playing really nice with all the other plants. The ivy's starting to go over the edge. The little ruby Alternanthera, that one was kind of struggling when we put it in. It's just now starting to show up, so we're going to hope that that goes over the edge. This is a COLORBLAZE watermelon mini-me coleus, and I think we're going to probably be cracking off maybe a little bit of this coleus to give this one more space, or maybe we'll let it overtake it. I'm not sure. It's just growing a little slower than this one, which is the Main Street. I think that's Abbey Road. I'm not remembering exactly. Our Dusty Miller or Artemisia. This is the sea salt. That's just starting to kind of get over the edge. This is some of the lemon coral sedum, and that is going right over the edge of the pot. In fact, it's going right around. I love how this one grows, and it just stays that nice kind of color. This is the Senecio angel wings, nice kind of soft leaf on it. Bright spot, definitely in the middle of that pot, especially when you put it next to the illustrious Colocasia. And then this is some Tradescantia. So we put our Tradescantia in the full sun. We're able to do that here. I know in other parts this would definitely fry, but we're lucky here that that's one advantage to our climate up here, is that our sun doesn't get quite as intense. Now this one's kind of crazy because these dahlias are doing great. So this is the Venti mango. This thing, look at how many flowers are on this. And this is the case on all of them that we planted. They just keep blooming and blooming and blooming and blooming. And then the Canna, this is the mango Canova, or Cananova, doing really, really well, as you know, so it's got that nice upper growth. Here's some Diamond Frost Euphorbia. We can actually see that one. We're happy about that. This Peachy Keen Superbina. This is pretty crazy because it goes all the way from this side of the pot all the way around to here, goes almost halfway around, and we haven't really done anything with it. We haven't had to deadhead it, haven't had to do anything. This is the one that we had 3 different sweet potato vines, so this is the penny lace variety. This one isn't a big trailer, it's more bushy, and it's really beautiful. I love the texture on it, so that one's been great. And then this is the Funhouse Potpourri Petunia, and holy smokes, this one is definitely going, kind of like that Superbina. It's been really a good one for flowers and for size. So just look at the size of that. And this is the one where the flowers start out a little more yellow, and then as they kind of fade, they actually get more peachy. So it is Funhouse Peach Melba? Yeah, I think it was Peach Melba. This is the Sidekick Bronze sweet potato vine, and so that one's doing really well, and I love the color on that. Then we also have, there's a Crossandra in here. That one's getting eaten up a little bit, but look at the beautiful orange flowers on this. So those are great. This is that Superbina as well. So this one's getting its stripes. This is Main Street Sunset Boulevard Coleus. It's kind of getting pushed around by the dahlia a little bit, but I think it's gonna do its thing. And then this is the red rooster grass, and then the jet black sweet potato vine as well. This one here is kind of a hodgepodge, a wild hodgepodge of color, but the reason why is that these are all plants that have been kind of labeled as drought tolerant. So our plan is to only water this one maybe twice a week or just as necessary, and kind of document how often we are watering it. So we're going to be curious to see how drought tolerant these are and how much drought these things can take. So we'll keep an eye on this one, and we'll report back as to which plants do the best. Then our final one here. Now this is a replacement one because the big one that we planted for this actually ended up in Alpena, Michigan, for the Alpena, their first ever flower festival that's going on this weekend, and they wanted something really showy, and this was the one. So we have the Upside Black Coffee sweet potato vine growing up, along with some of the, this one had the yellow Black-Eyed Susan vine that's just starting to head up. some of that lantana. Now this lantana here, the yellow here, is, you know, bigger than what we saw in the other one, but this is really starting to fill in really nice. This is some more Superbina. This is the plum wine, and you can see it matches really well with, I think that's the Surefire Cabernet, or Merlot rather. So that one's doing well. And then this is the Suncredible Sunflower. This is always a good performer. We just kind of tucked it around the back there. And then I think this is just a violet geranium, or it could be the Calliope violet. So although the plants are doing most of the work, we are doing everything we can to help them out. So our current regimen for these plants has been weekly fertilizing, and we've been using a water-soluble 20-20-20, and then also every, say, 3 or 4 weeks, we are putting some Osmocote in, the time-release variety, just to kind of fill in the gaps when we're not using our liquid fertilizer. So I think that's all been helping. Now we're going to be switching more to a Miracle-Gro, which has a little bit more, is it the middle number? Whatever the bloom boosting part of it is. And then our Osmocote is going to be, we use a 14-14-14 because that's what we use on a lot of our stuff, but you could also use a 10-10-10 if you're using time release. So that's usually the easy way. So use your water soluble once a week, and then you can supplement, you don't necessarily have to, with that time release. Like I said, usually you don't have to put that on more than, well, it's supposed to last 3 months, but when you have temperatures like we've been having in the 90s, it tends to degrade a little faster, so it can be a good idea to add a little bit more. We have not done much cleaning on these at all. So what you see is like the Dahlia got quite a bit of cleaning. Otherwise, we didn't really touch many of the plants. We did have to clean up on the one with the Black-Eyed Susan vine because that was kind of getting a little messy. So minimal care is going into these and hopefully maximum impact. I'll be checking back in on these with you and giving you a tour of what they look like later on as they get even bigger. So I think it's kind of fun to be able to see exactly how these things are growing and how they're doing. And it's always good to be able to see the plants in action.